I wasn't really drinking for taste.
You were drinking to feel numb.
Oh, yeah. I started at about 14, and then it was just after that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and then I was arrested a lot, and my brother wasn't. He was much faster than me. And I was arrested 13 times.
Like faster on his feet?
Yeah, like if you, like cops raided a house party. Most people could get away, and I'd like run and I'd hide in a closet, have for years. But I hid in a closet. And I remember one time cops are like, I thought the cops had left. And I was like, are they gone? And this cop's like, no, we're still here. And he opens up the closet, and I'm just under a pile of clothes. And he's like, who's in here? I'm like, E.T., like just completely stupid. And then they threw me down a staircase.
Why?
They didn't like me. I had been arrested a lot. And then a sea of teenagers started chanting Rodney King at the police. So they ended up dropping the charges because so many kids witnessed me being thrown down a staircase by cops.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even swing on them or anything. I did another time, but that time I did not
swing.
No, I just was minding my own business in the closet under a pile of laundry.
When did you stop drinking? July
7th, 2009.
Why that day?
13th arrest.
What did you do to get arrested so many times?
All alcohol and drug related.
But like, you were doing bad things. Are you a criminal?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, according to the legal system. I mean, I have a felony number of DUIs, but the reason they couldn't charge me with it is because I basically was an adult when I got arrested my last time, and my prior DUIs, I was a juvenile, so it didn't count.
How did you get a car so young?
I got one at 16.
Oh, okay.
And then, well, the day I got my license, I ended up in a high-speed chase and totaled my dad's car.
What?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in a high-speed chase?
Well, it was the day that I got my license, and my birthday's in June, but my parents made me wait till November until I could get my grade point up above like a 2. I didn't, but they were tired of me driving, having to take me to school or me riding with my brother. And so my dad's car was in the garage, and my aunt was blocking the driveway because it was like during a family reunion. So when they all went to a restaurant, I decided to gingerly back my dad's car out over my neighbor's garden and pine tree and then take his car out.
Okay.
So we went down, we got alcohol, we got all this stuff down to the hood where we would go on like 8 Mile in Detroit, this place called Piccadilly. And we started giving people lawn jobs once we were driving around drinking, which is not sexual. It's just when you go on somebody's lawn and you spin and you like break torque and you knock all their grass onto their house. Mm-hmm. I did it, and I didn't realize there was a guy in a BMW sitting in his car. So we ended up in like a French Connection style chase throughout the suburbs of Detroit until I went down a street and there was a giant tree, and that's what I slammed into. Like, I was able to brake, but I popped the curb, the engine dropped, and I got knocked out by the airbag, and everybody ran except me. And here's what I didn't know. Because we were having a family reunion, there was a bunch of beer and alcohol already in the trunk and chips and stuff. So it just looked like a Super Bowl party had broken out behind me. So it was just booze and stuff all over the place. And I was just in a car unconscious when the cops showed up. And when I awoke, my dad was there. My dad was in Vietnam. He had cancer at the time. But I got out and I was like, I'm okay, Dad. And then he punched me in the face and knocked me out for a second time. And he was not a violent man. He had just had it. And yeah, that was and then they gave me 6 months suspended license for that.
That's all?
Yeah, in 1998. It really weren't as hard on it as they are now.
Oh my God.
They were like, you'll never do it again, right? I'm like, yeah, never. Ever. And I lied.
What about the guy's lawn that you destroyed?
Well, since he chased a bunch of teenagers into a tree, I think he just decided to stay out of it.
To let it go?
Yeah, his car braked, and then you kind of saw, like, from what I understand, this, like, oh shit look on his face because my
Yeah.
friends were about to fight him, and then he just spun out and got away as fast as possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Then I worked for a Jeep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Are you afraid that your son is going to end up like you?
absolutely. Every day.
Are you taking any preventative measures?
I am. He's more innocent than I was at his age.
Okay.
So, like, when I was like 7, I'd be listening to like Eazy-E on my Walkman on the way to school because my friends' older brothers would buy us tapes and stuff. So my son's not as much like that. Like, he's really good at. He's on a travel football team and baseball team.
Okay.
He does. I mean, and these are all things I didn't force him into. He plays drums. Like, this is all just him going his own way. And I've always supported what he wants to do and kind of just seen what he and I love him and I support. So he's going in a different direction than I ever did. Like, I always made films and stuff when I was a kid, which was cool. But his interests are more definitely athletics and he's very competitive.
That's good.
Yeah, I was never competitive.
Well, you couldn't hardly run. I mean, you never got away from the cops.
No, never, ever. I mean, a couple times I did, but it was usually because I ran to the yard next door and there'd be a tree fort, and I just hide in a kid's tree fort until the cops left.
That works.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes if people are getting breathalyzers and you go into the house, you can just like marine crawl under the window and then sneak out the garage.
Yeah.
I had plans of escape after a while.
Yeah, you had to.
I did. I was not a runner.
This was like a recurring theme for you.
Correct.
Well, it sounds so when guys are like usually the bad boy, which you sound like you were a bad boy.
I was, yeah.
They're usually like really fun to date.
Yes.
Did you have a lot of girlfriends growing up?
Yes.
What was like your go-to move to get a girl?
Nothing.
They were just attracted to the bad boy?
I was lucky, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like it now. I get it. I know what I look like.
I didn't even say anything.
But no, it's my own insecurity. No, I was very lucky where girls would ask like me out or want to date me, and it wouldn't take much.
What would you do? Where would you go? On a high-speed chase?
My basement to get a hand job. I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't like a party and then we would have relations in the upstairs of someone's home. Like, I wasn't very romantic. I remember one time I went to pick up my girlfriend and I just pulled in her driveway and at the time I had a Mustang Cobra.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm like honking. And so I'm just pulling up in this like date mobile and I'm just honking. And she's like, he's honking and not even coming to the door. And she came out. She's like, why are you honking? I'm like, because I'm high as fuck. I can't meet your parents right now. And so she's like waving to her parents, like his leg's broken, just making something up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was not as chivalrous. I was, but I also was not. I was very anxious to meet the parents because I was usually on something.
Okay.
So I never really wanted to go to the door.
That makes sense. Probably a good decision on your part.
Yeah. Even when I met a girl who I loved, who I dated for a year, I met her dad. And it was after slamming almost an entire fifth of Jaeger. And a lot of it had gotten on a white polo shirt I was wearing.
Yikes.
So I'm sitting there very drunk, talking to this guy, and I just have green stuff all over my shirt. And I only stayed, I'm like, I have to go. Your dad's going to see me like this. And she started crying. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go meet your father with Jaeger all over my shirt. So it was me and my friend Sean and my girlfriend just sitting there, and he's asking me like trivia questions just to see if I've paid any attention in school. So he's just like, do you know what the capital of Michigan is? I'm like, yeah, it's Lansing. Yeah, it's cool. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
First date, baby.
Are you really drinking a glass of milk with dinner?
First date, I can't